Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Now at 7 o'clock, Lexington firefighters are investigating a hit and run into a building.
And Lexington police say two men robbed a food truck late last night.
And an EKU student has died after an accident in Madison County. These stories and more, plus breaking news as it happens, coming up on WKYT this morning. Good morning to you on this rainy Saturday. I'm Whitney Wetzel.
Very rainy. I'm Shem Moody. I don't know if you can hear it right now.
Yeah.
If we're quiet for just a second,
you
might hear that rain on the roof. Let's check in first in our First Alert Weather Center with Mike Linden.
It has just been relentless all week long under this soggy pattern, and it will continue on at least through the next few hours here into our Saturday. Looks like a paint by number this morning across Kentucky with all of those colors there. That rain is just going to continue on at least through the rest of your morning and into the early afternoon, with most spots getting up near about an inch of rain as we head into the middle of our day. But right now, look at these temperatures. Right now in Lexington, Mount Sterling, Moorhead, that's it for the high, 55, 56 degrees, but look just to the west. The state capital already 47 degrees, and not long ago was at 49. So we've already hit our daytime highs for the day. It's only going to get cooler. But coming up, I'll show you exactly what I'm tracking as far as when this rain is going to push out of Kentucky and what we can expect through the rest of our weekend.
Thank you, Mike. New this morning, police and firefighters are investigating after they say a car crashed into a building near downtown Lexington.
It happened on South Broadway, right across the street from UK's campus. WKYT's Mark Barber is live at the scene this morning. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Sean and Whitney. Yeah, all that rain you've been talking about has caused the light to fail here. So we're going to go straight to video. That way you can see some of the damage that was done to the building here on South Broadway. Now, police are saying that they arrested the person who crashed into the building here on South Broadway around 3:30 this morning. The property manager says that the store here is a home health supply store. Now, firefighters are saying they're not sure at this point what caused the driver to veer off of South Broadway and crash into the building, but they say that the person has been arrested. Now, of course, police say it's too early to release his name, but we'll get that to you as soon as we can. Now, firefighters are saying that they were out here through the morning making sure that this building was stable. They say they haven't found any issues with the structure at this point. Now, as for the cleanup itself, the property manager says that the crash caused thousands of dollars in damage. Now, she tells me that they've got a lot of work to do here, but she says they've started the process and they hope to be open by Monday. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Thank you, Mark. New this morning, Lexington police say they're on the lookout for two robbery suspects this morning.
Police say two men robbed a food truck around 11:30 last night. It happened on Colesbury Circle off New Circle Road. An employee says he was approached by two men dressed in all black with handguns. He says they demanded cash and then ran off. Police brought out canines but lost their trail around Hollow Creek Road. Police have a limited description of those suspects. They haven't made any arrests. New this morning, an injury crash turns deadly over in Pulaski County. Last week, we told you about a wreck that sent 3 people to the hospital there. Now, the Fayette County coroner tells us 86-year-old Robert Hayden died from injuries stemming from that crash. Deputies say Hayden was driving along Highway 1247 and trying to turn onto Highway 27. We're told he didn't see oncoming traffic and pulled into the path of another car.
A crash that shut down a major road in Madison County has killed an EKU student. It happened Friday afternoon along Irvin Road in Richmond. The Madison County coroner says 22-year-old David Nelson Lee III died in that wreck. According to witnesses, he was leaving a gas station when another car hit him. Drivers say speed is a problem on this stretch of Irvin Road, and unfortunately, they say this isn't the first deadly wreck they've seen.
People don't take their time and won't slow down. You know, they get in a hurry and don't care.
Police tell us no one else was injured in the crash.
Well, if you drive through Garrard County, you may have to find an alternate route home. The state has closed several bridges for repairs there. The possible detours include a 12-mile drive to Kentucky 52 or a shorter drive on the narrow and curvy Perkins Lane. A spokesperson for the Transportation Cabinet told us they don't have a timeline for when those repairs will be finished, but they have applied for emergency funding.
People in Pulaski County can help those in need and pay off their parking fines at the same time. Those with parking tickets from Somerset can drop off food at God's Food Pantry in exchange for a voucher that's good for parking fines. It's called Food for Fines. If you donate 5 boxes of food, you'll get a voucher that can be redeemed at City Hall to pay for the tickets. The Food for Fines program runs through the end of December.
I think finding a parking ticket whenever you come back to your car will be a little less upsetting that way.
Yeah, you do a good deed and get that taken care of.
That's
Good deal.
right.
Keeping a child's memory alive by helping others. A Lexington family has turned their home into a winter wonderland.
Yeah, and they're inviting you to come see their Christmas light display on Tuscaloosa Drive. They're doing this all in honor of a child who died after battling cancer.
WKYT's Garrett Weimer tells us how this unique display will help children battling illness.
This home isn't hard to spot. That's because of the lights. Lots of them. Come inside, and you're walking in a winter wonderland in memory of a young girl who lost her life to cancer. But her legacy still lasts today.
And what Jillian taught me was to have joy in the moment no matter what's going on in your life. And while I watched this little girl battle an important part of her life, she had joy right until the end.
That's why they deck these halls. The Burweilers say this is all about more than just all these lights and decorations. They say it's about bringing joy and putting smiles on people's faces.
But we all see, I'm going to try not to get emotional, but the pain in the world. And there is so much joy, and there's so many people doing so many great things. And I think that there is no greater joy than giving to somebody else and blessing somebody else. And when people come through our house, they feel that, they sense that.
Look under the tree, and Santa Claus has already come to town. These are the toys they're collecting for UK Children's Hospital.
These children are stronger and braver than we'll ever have to be. And so people tell us all the time, oh, this is such hard work. I tell everybody it's a lot of work, but it's not hard work.
With every light, every display, and every smile, doing what they can to spread joy to the world. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Jillian's Joy Box will host 2 more open houses next Friday, and then the week after that. You can find more information on WKYT.com.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Now at 7:30, Lexington firefighters are investigating a car crash into a building.
And Lexington police say 2 men robbed a food truck late last night.
And an EKU student has died after an accident in Madison County. These stories and more, plus breaking news as it happens, coming up on WKYT this morning. Good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Whitney Wetzel.
I'm Sean Moody. Just rainy, rainy, rainy outside.
From the sounds of it, it sounds like it might have quieted down at least.
Yeah, it was pretty loud in the past half hour or so. Let's check in with Mike Linden in our First Alert Weather Center. How's it looking, Mike?
Well, as you can see here, looking at the sky cam overlooking the Hamburg Pavilion in Lexington, just a dreary start to our day. And if only that camera could show you how soggy the ground is. For that, you'll have to step outside, but probably not a good idea to do so here over the next few hours, because look at Live First Alert Defender, still covered by the wet stuff, and it looks like that will continue on at least through the next few hours here. As you can see, Louisville there, it is beginning to clear up as a cold front. This is the last shot of it, that heavy, consistent rainfall as we begin to not only dry out, but to cool down as well. We've already hit our daytime highs for the day, and there you can see 55 in Lexington already beginning to drop off. So when I'll be back in about 10 minutes, we'll break down what else this wet weather has for us for the next few hours and what we can expect as we head through the rest of your weekend. That's all coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mike. New this morning, police and firefighters are investigating after a car crashed into a building in downtown Lexington.
It happened on South Broadway, right across the street from UK's campus. WKYT's Mark Barber is live at the scene. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Whitney and Sean. Firefighters say about 3 hours ago, a driver slammed into this home health supply store on South Broadway. If you take a look over my shoulder here, you can see where the force of that crash knocked bricks off the building, putting them on the sidewalk here. Now, police say that they have arrested the driver of a Chevy Silverado, who they say plowed into this building. Police say at this time they are not releasing his name. Now, we're also told that police have no word at this point of why that driver may have veered off the road and into the building here. Now, I spoke with the property manager of the building. She says that firefighters have been here through the morning, checking to see if the building is stable. We're told they didn't find any problems. Now, that property manager says that when it comes to the cleanup, they have a big job ahead of them. She says this crash caused thousands of dollars in damage. She says they've started the work this morning and they boarded up the store here, and they're hoping to be open by Monday. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. New this morning, Lexington police say they're on the lookout for 2 robbery suspects.
And police say 2 men robbed a food truck at around 11:30 last night. It happened on Colesbury Circle off New Circle Road. An employee said 2 men dressed in all black with handguns approached him. He says they demanded cash and then ran off. Police brought out canines but lost the trail around Hollow Creek Road. Police said they have a limited description of the men. No arrests have been made. An injury crash has turned deadly in Pulaski County. Last week, we told you about a wreck that sent 3 people to the hospital. Now, the Fayette County coroner tells us 86-year-old Robert Hayden died from injuries stemming from that crash. Deputies say Hayden was driving along Highway 1247 and tried to turn onto Highway 27, but we're told Hayden didn't see oncoming traffic and pulled into the path of another car. Eastern Kentucky University students lost one of their own after a deadly crash that shut down a busy Madison County road for hours.
The 3-vehicle crash happened late Friday afternoon along Irvin Road in Richmond. Investigators tell us the crash killed an EKU student. People who often drive on that road say this shows just how dangerous it can be. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy has more.
Clerks inside the Ready Mart on Irvin Road heard the first wreck.
I looked out the window and I saw that white car hit the van.
And saw the second.
That white car hit the driver's side door of that van. How, I don't know. It kind of looked like that van was already sideways in the turning lane and he was pulling out and hit him.
The Madison County coroner says 22-year-old David Nelson Lee III, an EKU student, died in that wreck. Lee lived in Irvin. Michael Pellini says he was leaving the gas station when another car hit him.
It seems like the worse the weather gets, the less sense people have on the road.
Drivers tell us speed is a problem on this stretch of Irvin Road, and unfortunately this isn't the first deadly wreck they've seen.
People don't take their time and won't slow down. You know, they get in a hurry and don't care. And
Stephen Williams Jr. takes Irvin Road to and from his job 5 days a week. Williams works at the same university Lee attended.
It'll hit hard tomorrow. People know him probably up there, and students go to school up there. And it's sad. It's such a young life.
In Richmond, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Crews in Madison County were also busy working a crash involving a school bus. A Madison County school spokeswoman says the bus clipped a utility pole at 3rd and Water Streets in Richmond and knocked down electrical wires. There were 31 children, a driver, and an aide on board. None of them were hurt. The bus was able to leave a short time after fire crews arrived. 2 people are behind bars this morning after police say they caught a Central Kentucky couple in a hotel room with a missing 15-year-old girl. Berea police charged Jordan Palmer and Andrea Baker with unlawful transaction with a minor. Palmer also faces a rape charge and Baker is charged with sex abuse. Police say they discovered the pair in a room in the Knights Inn with a girl who ran away. In addition to the sex crimes, police say the pair gave that teen meth.
The Whitley County Sheriff's Office says the public helped them catch an interstate fugitive. Sheriff's deputies say it was citizens' tips that led them to 34-year-old Monty Sands. They said they'd been searching for him for more than a year. Sands was wanted on a fugitive charge in Tennessee and a parole violation in Kentucky. The Whitley County Sheriff says he can't stress enough about how important tips from the public can be. Police think 2 pricey thefts near Transylvania University could be connected. Friday morning, maintenance crews at apartments on 4th Street near campus discovered parts had been stolen from several air conditioning units. Just behind the apartment complex, 3 batteries to construction equipment were stolen earlier this week. Campus police said the 2 separate thefts are most likely related.
Officials hope to use this winter break to fix a potentially dangerous problem at a Lexington school. They detected high levels of radon at the Locust Trace Agri-Science Center on Leestown Road. During winter break, radon mitigation systems will be installed to continue reducing those levels. The school board needs to sign off on $50,000 worth of work to remove the radon. That vote is expected to happen on December 15th.
In some areas of the building, it's fine. It's just that it seems to be in pockets, and I think that's probably how radon typically manifests. We just want to be sure that we are being extra cautious and taking care of the issue now and seeing that for the long term that we have a healthy building.
School leaders will continue to monitor radon levels for 90 days after the mitigation system is installed. A Lexington family has turned their home into a winter wonderland, and they're inviting you to come see their Christmas light display on Tuscaloosa Drive. They're doing it in honor of a child who died after battling cancer. The owners say it's about more than just lights and decorations. They're also collecting toys for UK Children's Hospital. They want to keep a child's memory alive by helping others.
These children are stronger and braver than we'll ever have to be. And so people tell us all the time, oh, this is such hard work. I tell everybody it's a lot of work, but it's not hard work.
Jillian's Joy Box will host 2 more open houses next Friday, and the week after that. You can find more information on WKYT.com.
Morning. We hope you're enjoying the start to your weekend. Kentucky State Police say Kentucky is on target to end the year with the lowest number of highway fatalities in decades. And the KSP is also looking for some strong recruits right now. Sergeant Michael Webb and Trooper Brad Afterburner are 2 of our guests on this weekend's edition of Kentucky Newsmakers.
You look at the times we're in right now, the stories you see on the news every night. It is a challenging time to find people who want to be in law enforcement. And then the Kentucky State Police is an elite agency. Our training is tough. But so when we get people, they have to be dedicated to that process, because if you're not 100% dedicated to being a Kentucky State Trooper, you're not going to make it through. And it happens every year. We have a very high attrition rate because of our tough training. And so we need people who are really dedicated and motivated to be troopers.
Your reference to things people have been seeing in the news, what has changed in the recruiting for law enforcement since the events of the summer, say in Ferguson, Missouri?
Well, people realize, everything we do is going to be scrutinized. For a long time, law enforcement, you went out, you did your job, you went home at night. There went on to cell phones, cameras that we have. Everything is captured now, for good and for bad. But so a lot of people don't want that to where every aspect of their life is going to be scrutinized. Every detail that they do in their job is going to be looked at. Some people don't want that stress level, because it does cause stress sometimes amongst the things we do. But we try to tell people that you do your job the right way and you're going to be okay.
And to what extent, either of you, in recruiting minority candidates to be members of the Kentucky State Police, is that challenging in Kentucky, where the metropolitan areas basically are Lexington and Louisville? And
it is a challenge for us. It's one that we've been working on for some time, long before recent events in the media. We've been trying to find folks that minorities and females and other folks that we would like to have more numbers of in our agency. And it is just difficult due to the nature of the job that we do, and a lot of the folks that we would be able to pull in from minorities will end up going to a larger metropolitan area because that's where they want to live. There's a lot more conveniences in the city and things like that, where our troopers may be out in rural areas far away from where they're from. So there are some challenges that we have to go through, but we are certainly working through those, trying our best to recruit as many good qualified candidates as we can.
I mean, either of you would acknowledge it's a special breed of person who is going to go out there, and many times those rural areas, knowing that backup is a long way away, and handle tough circumstances.
Well, the Kentucky State Police troopers' job is very unique. It's very different from that of other local law enforcement agencies, specifically those in the city. We are working alone, covering large geographical areas in rural areas where there are not a lot of other local law enforcement. Perhaps one of our most useful, where we use the most, is in rural areas where there's not a lot of tax base and industry to fund a police department or sheriff's department. So we are used, and we cover a lot of areas we don't have backup. So it takes a very specific type of person to want to be a trooper. And we have a lot of folks that come, that apply, who want a job. Then we have folks who want to be a police officer, but we're looking for the ones who want to be a trooper.
Also on Kentucky Newsmakers, we hear from United Way President Bill Farmer, who talks about efforts to address human needs in the bluegrass. To see the full edition of Kentucky Newsmakers, set your DVR or catch it tomorrow morning at 6 on WKYT, or on its repeat tomorrow at 10 a.m. over on the CW Lexington.